Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, moments like these are bittersweet, when you know that you're on the right side, but you're frustrated because you can't get any semblance of justice. These moments are nice, seeing GOP leaders actually do the right thing, bring the receipts, expose and absolutely obliterate these corrupt left-wing actors in positions of power. You know, that's the sweet part, but the bitter part is, I don't know if we're going to get to accountability, unfortunately. I don't think these individuals are going to be held accountable for their corrupt ways, and so we might not get full closure on that end, but what we do get are absolutely epic, savage, vicious moments that we could have fun with, and of course we get more exposure. We gotta keep exposing these Democrat machine operators as corrupt in the public eye, and boy did that happen, as all the former Twitter executives and those in charge of trust and safety at the platform were brought to publicly face the House Oversight Committee, led by none other than Republican Representative James Comer. And boy, was it exciting. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright friends, so the three key individuals who were brought in front of the committee was former FBI counsel Jim Baker, or James Baker, the infamous trust and safety lead Yoel Roth, and of course the former top lawyer at Twitter, Vijaya Gadde, who oversaw pretty much all of it. And of course, like usual, you know exactly what to expect. Basically, the standard has already been set from previous events. For instance, Joe Rogan's podcast, where Vijaya Gadde avoided telling the truth, pretty much lied for 2 to 3 hours straight when being grilled by Joe Rogan and Tim Pool. Well, again, it was pretty much the same vibe. You know, lies like this.
Mr. Roth, do you personally think that you have a political bias, and did you have one when you worked at Twitter? A personal political bias?
No, sir.
Now, I'm not exactly sure how that's not considered as lying under oath. Yoel Roth, when asked if he has personal political biases while working at Twitter, answered no. So you mean to tell me that you have no personal political biases? That fundamentally cannot be true. That has to be a lie. And we know that it's a lie because not so soon after, Yoel Roth was confronted with his own statement. Like usual, Republican politicians come in swinging with receipts.
Investigation begins with the story of how big tech, the media, former intelligence agents, and the Bidens themselves suppressed the story of Hunter Biden's laptop weeks before the 2020 election. Today, we're hearing from Twitter executives who buried the New York Post laptop story, claiming it violated the platform's hacked materials policy. In reality, the Twitter executives were hostile towards conservatives and biased towards anyone who opposed their points of view. For example, Mr. Roth, did you write this tweet?
I regret the language that I used in some of my former tweets, but yes, I did post that.
And I'll read the tweet so it's in the record. Yes, that person in the pink hat is clearly a bigger threat to your brand of feminism than actual Nazis in the White House. Mr. Roth, do you think all conservatives are Nazis?
Certainly not, sir.
What about the hundreds of people who worked in the Trump administration?
Certainly not.
Did Ms. Gadde or any other...
Ah, I see. So Yoel Roth claims that he had no personal bias, no personal political bias while working at Twitter, yet at the time he literally tweeted, yes, that person in the pink hat is clearly a bigger threat to your brand of feminism than actual Nazis in the White House. Essentially implying that people working in the Trump administration, you know, regular Republicans, part of the Republican administration, claiming that they are, quote, actual Nazis. That seems like the perfect, balanced, fair, neutral person for the job. And considering Twitter's history of doing the bidding of the DNC, their history of banning and censoring conservatives and key Republican candidates ahead of election seasons, well, there's clearly no conflict of issue here. Yoel Roth is definitely a trusted, neutral moderator. What an absolute joke, an insult to my intelligence. This entire hearing exposed the utter dishonesty of these corrupt individuals. Here's Representative Jim Jordan grilling former FBI official, or former FBI counsel Jim Baker, on whether he discussed the Hunter Biden laptop story with the FBI.
Mr. Baker, you said you didn't talk with the FBI that day. Did you talk to the FBI about the Hunter Biden laptop story prior to then or after that day?
I'm trying to make sure I can answer this question consistent with the restrictions that I talked about in my opening
Simple
statement.
question. You talked to the FBI about the Hunter Biden story?
I do, to the best of my recollection, I did not talk to the FBI about the Hunter Biden story before that day.
Did you talk to him after it? You said your
don't recall.
response is real specific to the chairman. You said, I did not talk to the FBI about the Hunter Biden laptop story that day. I assume that day is October 14th. I want to know if you talked to him on the 13th or before, or if you talked to him on the 15th and after.
I don't recall speaking to the FBI. Sitting here today, I don't recall speaking to the FBI at all about the Hunter Biden matter.
Well, then why'd you answer it the way you did?
I beg your pardon?
I yield back to.
Well, that's really interesting that he mentions that, because I seem to remember during the Twitter file drops multiple occasions where Jim Baker's name came up as part of the early discussions between Twitter and the FBI surrounding the Hunter Biden laptop story. In fact, he was one of the key figures behind censoring the New York Post, other individuals and outlets for merely practicing journalism and releasing information. I hope that people were paying attention, because it's as clear as day that these former Twitter executives are acting deceptively. They are liars. And it was back to back to back, moment after moment, with these Twitter goons getting exposed as Republicans just kept bringing more and more receipts. Here's Representative Anna Paulina Luna hitting Yoel Roth once again with the facts.
What do all of these groups, though, have in common? And I'm going to, again, refresh your memory. They were all communicating on a private cloud server known as Jira. Now, the screenshot behind me, which is an example of one of thousands, shows on November 3rd, 2020, that you, Mr. Roth, a Twitter employee, were exchanging communications on Jira, a private cloud server, with CISA, NASS, NASED, and Alex Stamos, who now works at Stanford and is a former security officer at Facebook, to remove a posting. Do you now remember communicating on a private cloud server to remove a posting? Yes or no?
I wouldn't agree with the characterization.
I don't care if you agree. This is your stuff. Yes or no, did you communicate with a private entity, the government agency, on a private cloud server, yes or no?
The question was if I
Yes or no? Yeah, I'm on time. Yes or no?
Ma'am, I don't believe I can give you a yes or no.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now that you did, and we have proof of it.
It's undeniable. These Twitter executives can deny all they want. They can play stupid. Not to my recollection. Oh, I don't remember. They remember. They know. We have the receipts. We have the proof, the evidence, and hopefully people are paying attention. This was a massive, coordinated DNC to FBI to Twitter pipeline, censorship pipeline, to get ahead of narratives, to control the narratives ahead of the next election. Lauren Boebert said it best.
And there seems to be a revolving door between the FBI and Twitter itself. Even Mr. Baker said that there was no collusion with the federal government and Twitter. But Mr. Baker, that's you. You are the collusion between the federal government and the FBI. And now this is such a problem because we're seeing censorship all over.
You are the collusion. They went on, like I always say, for years and years about Russia collusion. Russia collusion. Russia colluded with the Trump campaign to spread mis and disinformation in an effort to take down Hillary Clinton. That never happened. What did happen was the DNC, the FBI, and Twitter, and of course Facebook and YouTube, clearly colluded to stop the surfacing of negative information related to Joe Biden, the Biden family, in order to interfere with the last presidential election. We have the proof, and no matter how many times they try to deny it, they pretend as if it doesn't exist, that they just conveniently forgot. We will continue to hit them with the receipts, with the proof that has been provided to us from Elon Musk, but of course, which we already knew. And hopefully, my hope is that people are just paying attention. These corrupt actors are never going to face legal repercussion. It's never going to happen. They're too connected, they're too protected. But while that might be the case that they'll never be prosecuted, they will continue to be exposed, and hopefully people are paying attention, and hopefully that matters and makes a difference. It was very clear during that committee hearing who were the good guys and who were the bad guys. And again, for me, it just continues to reinforce my belief in what I'm fighting and standing for, what side I'm standing on. Let's go to the classic meme. Democrats really need to start asking themselves this question a whole lot more.
Are we the baddies?
Yes, you are the baddies. That's what I got for you. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.